Hi everyone, Love to Share is here again. In this video, I'm going to share with you step by step to familiarize you with Adobe Photoshop interface and its functions. So if you're interested to learn using Adobe Photoshop, then this is the exact video tutorial to watch in order for you to learn fast. Without further ado, let us start. Okay, to open Adobe Photoshop, just simply click the PS icon on your taskbar. So, this is the Adobe Photoshop interface. So, let us start with the menus. These are the menu in Adobe Photoshop: the file, edit, image, layer, and so on. Next, these are the toolbars. Consist of several tools. So when you point your mouse pointer to a certain tool, this will display actually the name of the tool. This is move tool, moves a selection or layer. So meaning this tool can move text and images on your workspace. So this tool is a rectangular marquee tool. So these are the screen tip. So if you see tools that has an arrow, that means there is a hidden tools on that. So you just simply right click on that tool so that you can see the hidden tools. So since the active tool now is the lasso tool, you can actually see polygonal lasso and magnetic lasso. So these are the tools in Adobe, the toolbar in Adobe Photoshop, and these are the tools. So at the bottom we have here the color box. So I am going to discuss the function of its tools on my next video tutorial. So this time, let us first familiarize the interface of Adobe Photoshop. So when you click a certain tool here, for instance, the move tool, when you click the move tool, there's actually will display at the bottom of the menu. This is actually called the options bar. So every time you click a tool here, for instance, you choose a rectangular marquee tool, it will display a different options bar. This options bar is actually under the selection or the rectangular marquee tool. So for instance, if we click the text tool, select the text tool, so at the options bar, these are the options bar of the text tool, meaning you can change the font size here. If you insert text by clicking here, you can select the font style. Here you can select if you want a narrow, bold, or regular. Next, this is the size. Actually, the size you can actually simply Control T to transform and then resize the text or images by dragging each resizing handles. So this is the left align center text and the right align text, and this is the color of the text. When you click here, if you want to change the color of the text, just simply click any color here you want for your text. But before you can change your text color, you just simply first select the text you want to change color. This is the warp, how to warp text. So meaning this is equivalent to Microsoft Word. If you want to arc, to change the text to arc shape, fish shape, circle. So this is the create warp text. So in every tool here, for instance, you select the brush tool, you can see there is a different options for the brush tool. So when you choose the brush tool, at the options bar you can select any brush here. You can choose this brush. There are a lot of brushes here you can use in Photoshop. So these are the special effects brushes. So there are a lot of brush you can use in Photoshop. So for instance, you select this one. So in every tool that you're going to select, there is a different options for each tool. Okay? For instance, accidentally you couldn't see the toolbar. That means for instance, I'm dragging this one to drag this one to move, and for instance you accidentally close. Okay, now it is difficult for you to use Photoshop because you can't see the tools, especially if you don't memorize the shortcut keys for each tool. So to restore that toolbar, just simply click the window, and then since that is a tool, so you scroll bar at the bottom of the window here, you can see tools. So when you click this one to check, it will restore back your toolbar. So you can simply double click here or just drag to restore back your the toolbar. So okay, that's how to restore. Next, on the right side of this Photoshop environment or interface, you can see in Photoshop we are going to work with layers. So these are the layers. So with this portfolio, you can see there are a lot of layers here. So we are going to work with layers in Photoshop. So for instance, you are going to select the heading here. So since select is, you are going to select the move tool, then select for instance Surigao del Norte, you select, and then it will activate your layer here. See, so this eye icon are called visibility icon. So when you uncheck or when you click the eye, it will actually hide. So when you want to display, just simply click the visibility icon. So anything on the layer that you want to hide, just simply click the eye icon or remove the eye by clicking. So for instance, this portfolio words, just simply select, just simply click anywhere at the word, click, or see the portfolio is selected. Now you can unhide or hide, then unhide. So that's how to use the visibility icon in Photoshop. So there are a lot of layers when working with Photoshop. So the idea here is the top layer. For instance, if the layers overlap, meaning at the top layer will be visible if the images are overlapping. Okay, so here this is the working space of an image in Photoshop, or the workspace. So meaning outside of this will not be printed. So for instance, I'm going to press Ctrl minus to zoom out. Okay, for instance, I'm going to hide. Okay, so you can click the zoom tool and then click 100% so that you can view and hold down the space bar to look. This is how to, the advantage of using this hand tool from using the elevator or the scroll bars is you can drag easily. You can move anywhere you want to check your graphics. Okay, then you can right click, fit screen. So here are the panels, or what we call little tabs are called panels. You can actually customize these panels here. So here is the history. Actually, the use of this history is it's like using undo, but you can undo multiple actions in history. This one, so you can do multiple actions in history. This one is actions. So in Photoshop, actually, you can record actions. So meaning, while you are working with Photoshop, for example, you are resizing and you are recording, the next step you are going to do to resize is just simply to play your actions recorded. So for instance, you are resizing a picture and you are recording. The next time you resize the picture, you don't need to do the same. You just simply click the action to do the what you are recording or doing in Photoshop. This one is character, or the text. You are going to change the text to bold, to italic. This one, all caps, small caps. If you are going to superscript, use superscript or exponent. This one is the subscript. You want to underline text. Okay, and paragraph here, this is actually the paragraph, and here you can also click here. So this is the paragraph panel, so you can choose any alignments here using the paragraph. This one is the tools presets. This one is if you're working with 3D, three-dimensional. Next panel is properties. Okay, in Photoshop actually you can do many things, ranging from drawing, photo editing, making 3D images. It really depends what you are working on. So you can create ID, you can make ID, you can create tarpaulin. Okay, I will show you some pictures or example that Photoshop can do. So for instance, I'm going to show you some. You can create headers in Photoshop, and you can set any dimensions or size in Photoshop. Here you can create headers and footer. So for instance, I'm going to display an actual size 100. So you can check by simply holding down the space bar. You can check your design if it has a quality graphics. You can check at the bottom here. Okay, right click, fit on screen. Okay, another example, you can, the portfolio, you can design, you can edit or edit images like this one. So you can view this one 100% to check. Hit on screen. Okay, here you can create ID or customize your ID. So for instance, you can use guidelines in Photoshop to have a perfect dimensions of every spacing or of your layout. So this red are the actually the guidelines. Okay, you can create guidelines by simply clicking the move tool and then dragging at the roller, and you can create guidelines in Photoshop. You can hide the guidelines by simply clicking the window and then clicking the view, and then if you want to hide all the guidelines, you click extras. Okay, so now you can check your design in Photoshop. Okay, so in one Photoshop document, you can actually create the front and back of your design. So just simply here, I have already grouped the front. Is just simply hit on screen. I will hide the front if I'm going to print the back. So you just simply click the visibility icon for the back of your design. So that's how to do, or Photoshop can do. You can create tarpaulin. Okay, you can this is actually my template for a threefold program for nutrition month. So you can actually create a perfect dimension when you fold. So perfect, just simply solve, or if this is an A4 bond paper, so you divide the size by 1 to 3 divided by 3. So for instance, an A4 width is 11.69 divided by 3. That is your guide here. The quotient for 11.69 divided by 3, so from 0 plus the quotient plus the quotient plus the quotient. So that's how to divide dimensions, or to use dimensions or guide in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, this is the student's ID before. Okay, so Photoshop can create, actually there are a lot of things that you can do in Photoshop. So for instance, the logo, you can actually change. I have drawn this logo actually, so you can actually edit this one by simply, for instance, I'm going to edit the text in Surigao Norte National High School. Just simply click here. So you can actually type text by okay, that's in Photoshop. You can actually draw logo in Photoshop. Okay, so another, I can customize my class record. Before, I have created my customized cover for my class record before. You can actually create a design for t-shirt printing in Photoshop. So by color separation, so if you're using or screen printing, you need to separate, or you need to separate the colors for screen printing in Photoshop. Okay, for instance, since Photoshop actually is working actually with layers here, you can for instance, the layer is, or you cannot see the layers here, assuming that accidentally layers are unchecked. You can see here by clicking the window, and then I'm going to click the layers here to uncheck, or the shortcut key is F7 here. So you cannot see the layers, so it's not difficult to work on Photoshop if you can't see the layer. So to restore that one, you just simply click the window and then click the layers, or you can press the function key F7 here. So click. So that's how to restore layers in Adobe Photoshop. We have here channels. So RGB means red, green, blue. This is the red, green, and the blue channels. Green channel and red channel. So RGB is the complete. Paths. Working with paths, you can I'm going to discuss this one on my next video tutorial using the paths. Okay, here at the bottom of Adobe Photoshop, so here, this is how to delete layer. So for example, I'm going to delete a layer. For instance, we are going to choose one layer, front. Okay, so the front layer actually is this one. So if you're going to delete this layer, you just click this layer and then click this delete. So for instance, I'm going to delete this one. Click the delete, and then since that is a group layer, so I can delete group and content. So if I'm going to click group and content, so it will delete the group and the contents of the layer here. So but you can still restore back or undo. You just click edit and then step back. So that's how to restore or to go back to the previous action. So if multiple actions you're going to restore back, this is the use of the history panel. Here, to create a new layer, so for instance, if you want to create a new layer here, you just simply click this one, and then here you have already a new layer. So you can double click this one, and then you can change the name of the layer. For example, you want to put a circle, so that you can organize easily your work. So you make sure that the name of the layer is related to the content you are going to put on a layer. So circle, and then for example, you want to put a circle here for shape, here ellipse. For example, you're going to draw a circle. You can hold down the shift if you want a perfect circle. Okay, so that's how to draw a circle. So since the foreground color is green, so automatically the circle you draw is with green color. So that's how to create a new layer. here is, for example, you want to group a layer. So for instance, in a logo, there are a lot of images and text here. So if you want to move in one, you can group actually layers. So for example, this one, this 1993 up to here, you want to group, so you just simply select the first text you're going to group, and then you just simply hold down the shift. If sunod, you just simply click here. So you have selected all the three. So if you want to click here, or the shortcut key is Control G or Go, you just simply Control G. It will actually create a group of layers. This time, if I'm going to hide, it will hide actually those layers here. See? So since it is group, so when I click this one, so those are the group that I am creating, a new group that I have created. Okay, so in Photoshop, you can actually save your work by simply clicking the file, and then same in Microsoft Word, Excel, you can click the save, and then you assign a file name. So here at edit, you can copy and paste, you can step back, you can step forward. Okay, there are a lot of things you can transform, or Control T. Layers. Okay, so that's all I have to you today for Adobe Photoshop interface layout. Thanks for watching.